not interested.
If it's not short and interesting, move on, right? Okay, I see, I
Listen,
see.
I have that thing. I lost interest when you stop the blah blah blah. Okay, okay, that's how I know. See,
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess a good job being honest, right? You're just like, hey, I'm losing interest right now, so you better wrap it up or get more
I don't even
interesting.
say. I said I call you back. If I'm on the phone, I call you back. Or if he's on, I'm like, you know
Wow.
what? I get back to you.
Yeah, okay, now I'm gonna listen for that. Now I'm gonna be watching everybody else. See, now you can't give away your secrets. Now people know.
No, no,
So,
no, no. I don't think it's giving away. Me, I'm very straightforward. This is something that you know about me from the beginning. I
mhm,
don't like people to waste my time, and I don't want to waste nobody's time neither. Because as a business person, you understand time is precious. Because
yes.
this is the moment you can create anything in a short frame of time. So if I'm gonna give it to you, exactly, you need to put it.
Mhm.
So don't make me talk for nothing. Don't call me to speak to do zen on people. Oh, petit, do pas de sak pase. And tell we petit, hey. I don't have time for that.
I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna use him back. Well, I think that's and to me if we look at the conversation about time, and for me was it's I think I've been working so hard because of understanding where I came from and seeing where we've come with time and what is possible, and like you said, like how do we spend our time, who do we spend our time with, and what are we doing in those moments. And so for me, it's when I look at my whole family, I have 9 siblings. During this time, most of almost every single person has been working and found a way to work. Maybe some people had a couple months off because of their whole business closing, but it's just so powerful to me to look at my family and say they're very much taking their time seriously and wanting to make an impact in this world in a positive way. And I think it comes because we grew up in difficult circumstances. And so not only do I not waste my time, I want to make sure if ever I'm with somebody, I'm going to use my time to empower them for
Thank
sure.
you. And at the same time, sometimes you need, me when I'm spending time. If I'm not teaching you something, you have to teach me something. Because it's important. This is how you grow, and this is why they said, surround yourself, by people, same mindset, people who have the same vision as you. Because I don't want people to waste my. This is the reason I don't waste people time. Because I think in this world we live in, so many people right now would love to be here to talk like you're talking. Like me, I'm talking. What happened? The video is done. Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I can still see you. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
A lot of people they would love to be here today to talk like you are, like me, but they don't have that chance. They're not there anymore. So
Yeah.
if you are in this world, you're living in this hurt. Please use your time wisely. Do something productive and good about it. Huh?
Mhm.
That's
And
it.
enjoy your time. I mean, it's also like enjoy, right? Because
And
I
balance and everything. You know that.
Well, I mean, I also want to, acknowledge my family, right? Because again, we're really hard workers, and I sometimes I look back and I'm like, wait, did I enjoy my last week? What can I do to have more joy while I'm going around using my time to the wisest and helping people? Like, I just scheduled a massage. I'm like, all right, it's been a long couple of weeks. I'm like, I'm gonna get me a massage, make sure I can enjoy I can take care of myself, and I
Oh,
think that's something
this
my
is
mom
very
taught me
important.
too, where she goes back to Haiti now as she's dealing with her own challenges with age, and she wants to make sure she's taken care of. And it's just we all got to do what makes the most sense for us to take care of ourselves.
That's great. So now talk to me about the business. The business.
Yes. Let's
You
get back to
are on
business.
this
Yeah.
platform as the Lady L Show Queen des Entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. You know, talk to me about your business, what you do exactly, and how if someone was listening to you right now would like to have your services in their business.
Perfect. Yeah. So the place I will start is saying that anytime you bring people together,
Hmm.
there's generally problems, right? It's problems because of some of the stuff we talked about,
Yeah.
people not speaking their truth, people being limited, people being excluded. And so anybody who's running a company and you're starting to see those problems happen where people are not communicating, especially when we start talking about race, we start talking about politics, or we start talking about privilege, it just gets very explosive. So what we do, we go in there and help to create trust and safety in an organization to make sure that instead of letting those things tear them apart, they allow those issues to make them stronger. And so we do that through trainings, through coaching. we do that through helping them create the strategy as well as the policies within the organization. So it's been amazing. It's very hard during this time to be a leader, especially when you don't know how to have these conversations or how to hear people who are different than you. And what we do is help to make that your job as a leader that much easier.
Wow. So that's what you do. And what make you go into that field? Because usually, you're gonna have, especially as Asian people, you're gonna have the tendency, they, open an office, do this kind of business, selling things. Why did you choose that direction?
That's a good question.
This is
I
so
think that
white.
I think
And people will say this is so white people thing.
Well, I think it shows me, that if I look back at my life and I think about even the situation like Haiti, I could have chose to just send money, but then they say, "Why are you going to go to Haiti?" Well, I just feel like I need to go. Like it's something that is so passionate inside of me that, I know I have an ability to bring people together. I've worked in a lot of different environments, work from working with kids all the way to the elderly. So I started to see some things that all humans do the same and ways that humans want to be treated. So because I had that knowledge and I want to empower people, I go to where people need me, and that this is a place where people have been really appreciating me coming with more positive energy, a smile, and helping both white people, people of color, like all people to be safer in this conversation.
That's nice. That's nice. Because I was no seriously, and I'm like, I've been looking at your profile. I'm like, what he's doing exactly? I kind of, like you were a speaker, motivator, and everything. But you're gonna see, you don't see a lot of Asian people go to that part. You're not gonna see a lot of Asian do that kind of thing because we have that insecurity somehow inside of us because it's hard to be accepted in this community. I mean, in this country, and wherever we hear, but they always make us feel sometimes you're not welcome. Go back home.
Go
You
back home,
belong.
yeah.
So
I think that's why I work even harder because it's like you were saying, people wouldn't even like know that I'm Haitian unless I tell them that, right? It's like I get to kind of be like undercover sometimes, but then you know,
undercover.
depending on who I'm talking to, they'll see this in my office, right? So they just know that I because I understand what it means to hide. I'm like, yeah, I'm not hiding anymore. Why should I hide? Why? What's the? And then, and if I get a chance to be on a stage, how do I make it better for people who are listening to me and the people who don't have the opportunity, like you said, to? There's people who are going to hear this in Haiti and be like, wow, I want that too. And it's like, yeah, I understand that feeling. And for me, it's all about even though I'm comfortable, I could be comfortable not saying anything. I'd rather be a little bit uncomfortable to make sure that it's better for me and for other people.
I know there's a lot of it's like sometimes I go somewhere and then especially because I speak Spanish and when I'm speaking Spanish and I'm like yes I'm Asian you don't look I'm like how do Asian look like okay no man seriously you see
No, you're right. You're right. How the Haitians look, they're like,
yeah
oh,
you
and
don't look
then
like Asian okay how do Asian look like exactly so when I do that face they're like don't be mad I'm just asking you a question how
yeah,
do
why are you getting
Asian look
scared, right? Because I
right.
think that's the assumption is that oh, we have to look poor,
I
we're
know very
struggling, or we didn't
beautiful,
eat food. Yeah.
educated, and things like that. That's why I'm telling you. And I was first and everything. I'm very proud of you because no, seriously, as a young Asian man, you choose a totally different path from a lot of people. You're gonna see. I'm not talking bad about you guys who decide to come here. You do tax offices, insurance, Obama, things like that. But this is what you see mostly. Asian people. You're gonna see if in that community you have so many offices. They do real estate, they do tax, they do things. That's why I feel like maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's they feel more comfortable and safe in this area. And most of the time they only work for their own community. Like and Asian people coming taking services from them. It's really rare to see what you're doing, especially as a coach, and then you go to businesses and how those people react when they know where you're from? Do they treat you differently? Or do they stick with
Mm.
your services? The price change?
The price
And
probably goes up. It's like,
no,
yeah.
because some people are like, ah, c'est haïtien. La balle $10 là. Par exemple.
No, no, no. Haïtien pour payer. Pour
Ok,
payer.
on va aller créole, oui? Ah, ah.
Yeah.
Laissez la joie, on va aller créole. Ok.
Yeah, I think the so yes, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And then I think it comes back to my mom. Like
Mhm.
she just allowed us to have whatever path made the most sense for us. And
Mhm.
then even if she didn't understand it, right, there's times where she literally asked me exactly what you just said. How'd you get into this? Right? Like,
Oh, because people
yeah.
ask.
So,
Like,
but she still
what
supported me.
what is doing? What is
Yeah.
doing? What is
Uh-huh.
having?
Uh-huh.
You know Haitian family. They're like ingénieur, docteur,
Yeah.
architecte, you know, comme si
Yeah.
c'est ça qui métier pour you. So for you, not only you didn't do anything that all the other mostly the Asian men are doing in that community, you're not
Hmm.
even working in the community at all. So
Yeah, and she yeah. So I remember those days where she would be looking at me confused. But one one thing my older sister said to me that she never gave up on me.
oh,
And
that's good.
I think that there is that even though we had our challenges growing up, and that she just allowed me to have that support and just figure out who I wanted to be. And I think that that support makes a huge difference. Like some people didn't get a chance to figure out other options, and maybe if you're absolutely happy where you are, please stay there, keep doing that. If you're feeling like, hey, I want to do something else, it's who's stopping you at this point, right? How do you empower yourself to find that? And now that we're running this business all online, I was a speaker in person. I finally got a chance to live my dream last year where I was doing 150 days traveling all over
I
and
see
speaking. And it was just
that.
so powerful when I would share with, especially like with young people, or when they see me in person, I'm talking about Haiti and where I came from, and they're like, wow, they feel so impressed. And being here now, everything's online. I got my own studio, where I want to make sure that I also show
Wow.
people. I want to make sure that it's I can bring the same kind of creativity, the same kind of what I see in Haiti is a lot of resilience and creativity. And it's like if you look at
That's
those
really
two
hard.
things, it's like such a powerful tool that I want to make sure I bring that into the conversation, even if it's online, so that way people understand. Just because we started in a difficult place doesn't mean that that's where we're going to end up. We're going to
Ah, no,
keep
no, no,
on
no.
working.
It's not the beginning. It's the destination. Because let's see. Let's take an example. When you see Obama, who would say that Obama will be like president of the United States? The where he's
Hmm.
from. So that's what I'm telling people. No matter where you're from, who's your mom, who's your dad, it's good sometimes if you have good parents who's there for you, who support you. It's better. Me, I have that chance. That's what I said, guys. Thank you, God. Every day for that. But there's a lot of people who didn't have that chance, but they work hard. If you really know what you want, where you're going in life, just focus and you will get there. And I don't think there's no I mean, of course you're gonna find difficulties because life is about that. If you see something is too easy, you're like,
Well, I mean, we can take it a little bit easier. I think that
no,
there's
would love that. But in our system, if we see too easy, where's the catch? This is how we think.
yeah. And then sometimes there is a catch, and other times it can be easy. Like again, both my parents came here from Haiti, and even some of my older siblings, like their trip was not easy to get here, right? So the fact that I was just born here, that was easy. I was like, all right, I'll take that, and I'm gonna go because it there. I think people don't have perspective that it can get much harder, right? It's like it's difficult for me to not work hard because I know that it can actually get worse and things can be. And so no matter where I'm at in my life, I continue to find that gratitude, and it's definitely because of my siblings who showed me a better way because I wasn't always so happy go lucky. I wasn't always trying to help people because I
You
just
were a
felt
bad boy.
yeah. Let's call it a bad boy. Yeah, yeah.
You
So
were a
it's
bad boy
it,
before. What made you
yeah.
change? What happened?
um It was a lot of things, but this year we just celebrated I don't know if celebrate's the right word, but we were honoring my dad. 20 years ago, he passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and that moment, that situation, and so his accident happened on my eighth, or sorry, 18, my 13th birthday. So his accident happened on my 13th birthday, and then that woke me up
Mm-hmm.
because then it basically it taught me that the world wasn't about me. That I had been especially as a teenager, right? You just get so selfish and so self-consumed, and just talking about everything that we didn't have, right? Because it's funny because when I talk about what I didn't have and why I was so angry, feeling like I was poor growing up in America, and then there were kids in Haiti who were like, "You're in poor, like you have way more than I do,"
You have
and
light,
so I
you have
didn't.
food.
Yeah, and so I didn't understand that, and with that same idea that things can get worse. I mean, it got worse very quickly out of nowhere, and I had to make better choices. I mean, I still kept getting in trouble that year, but I had to start making better choices. And it was again people like my mom, people like my family, my siblings, my teachers who didn't give up on me. That said, like they saw something better in me. So even as I work with people who are having difficulties, my goal is to see something better in them. Because now, 20 years later, when I look back, I'm saying that was a really terrible situation, and because of how we responded as a family, we're stronger.
That's good.
And I know that right now we're in the middle of an intense, crazy situation with COVID and taking people's lives and taking our livelihood. And what we do right now is going to make us stronger.
That's good. So, salutations spéciales à ta famille. I'm not saying in English because elle lit seulement oublié français la créole li. I'm pretty sure.
M'attendais.
Et mais c'est parti pour pour ton papa and courage. But that's good because sometimes when you lost something very important in your life, that make you realize how short life is, and then you have to try to make the best of it. And I'm happy that you okay now. You're not a bad boy anymore. But it's good at the same time because your bad boyness, if I can call it like that,
Mm-mm.
you're gonna use it. You can have a comparison, like a platform. You're gonna think how you were before and how are you right now. When you were in that state before, the result that you had or the non-result that you had, and now the fact that you change your life and the result that you have with that change. So it's good for
Absolutely.
you to both sides, and for you to decide, okay, that's the bad one, that's the good one. I choose
Yeah.
to be in the good one. Félicitations.
Yes.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that I would hope that as people hear that, they can make the same choice, even if they haven't
Everyone has a
had the
choice.
difficult thing. I mean, everybody has a choice. And I think it's not until we have like tragedy that we figure that out. Like a lot of people just figure that out this year, that things are going to happen to them, and things are still, even if it's happening to them, it's still happening for their benefit. But the difference becomes what they do about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's like I learned that, it still took me maybe like 5 years after he passed away for me to learn that. But definitely over the last 15 years, I've been putting that into play like very powerfully to make sure that I'm, like I said, that I'm better, and that I try to leave the world better as I'm here.
That's great. So now, business and personal question. How much do you charge?
Business and personal question. That's an interesting. So what I'll say is, if you want to find out that question, you can email me, right? Because then
We'll
we'll
have
find
you
out what's
here.
going on in your. Cause the more important thing is that it's we because this work is so crazy, we
Mm-hmm.
want to give you a solution that's best for your organization,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not like if I'm just selling phones, right? I could say here's the cost of the phone, but if I'm going to train you and your company and coach you, the we have prices based on what your situation
And
is,
then how
but
many
it
people
would
do you
it'd be
have as
easy
well?
better to
That's
talk about that in person or on in a private call.
another question. Do you have a lot of Asian customers in this field?
Do I have a lot of Haitian customers? No.
Not even one.
No. That's a good
Wow.
question.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it is because you are an Asian. You of course I know because people we are so proud.
Hmm.
Everything is okay. We can do it all. We can manage everything. We don't need help. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not sick. I'm not depressed. This is how we are because we're so resilient. Even the thing is killing us, we're not gonna ask for help. So
But I think it's also in this type of work too. And this is a good, thank you for bringing this up, because I know that different, depending on people's nationality or even their skin color, we all approach this conversation around diversity, equity, and inclusion differently.
mm-hmm.
And so we would still encourage people to look at what we're doing and to like one of the things we find out, for example, is that 25 to 50% of people do not necessarily feel safe in their organization. Like, so that might be your employees, that might be some of your managers, even sometimes it's even the CEO, like the people at the very top don't feel safe because people are going to judge them or think that they're trying to oppress them or that they're corrupt, right? So even if you go to our site and you get this free safety check just to check in on your organization, you don't have to work with us or not, but if you can be proud all you want. If you're proud and there's still problems, that is not a recipe for good business, right? So we would want you to actually feel more proud of your organization by resolving the issues that are happening so people can feel and they can feel safe and really trust you as a leader.
Definitely, but this is what I'm saying. Even though there's problem, they will never admit it. That's why I was like, do you really have Asian customers? Because they always think they can do it all. And sometimes they think is replacement is the best option. Fire, you fired. And sometimes they cannot even find someone else with the same quality. I know nobody is indispensable, comme si irreplaceable in a job. I do know that. Pas gen moun ki ka pa ka remplacer nos travail. Mais gon moun ki ka beaucoup plus effectif kon l'autre. Gon moun ki te ka travail mieux que l'autre. Maybe the time you're gonna have someone else, you're gonna have to train that person to start totally over. And then sou te just résoudre si différents côté gen avec ancien employé. Yo pas obligé révoquer. And then when yo pas konn ki jan pour faire ça. It's actually comme si I was like, do you really? I'm like, do you have some customer like that? And I don't know. Do you have in mind to reach eventually that niche someday,
Yeah,
somehow?
that's a good question too, because my sister is involved in the Haitian Chamber of Commerce in North Miami. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good question to talk to her about. And so this is good. I appreciate you asking because, for me, it's wanting to make sure not only to support the community in terms of like how I give my donations and my time, but then, what does it mean to find also Haitian-led companies that can afford to bring us in and really want to prioritize the work that we're doing.
Exactly. That would be a good platform to try. I don't,
Hmm.
you know, I think they proud, like we said, even though they doing sometimes the wrong thing. But
Well, it's not just
come on,
Haitians, right?
man.
There's a
I
lot
know
of groups
me,
that.
I'm mostly talking about my community because I know that a lot of other communities they've been doing a lot of effort. Even us, we are doing as well. But I think we need more things to do to be where we're supposed to be. Because we're not where we're supposed to be as, as people, as a nation. There's work to do. Kompren? Parce que nou perd du fierté nou littéralement. Nou gen fierté an tête nou, men nou pa gen la réalité. So we have to work on this pour là nous rivons côté. Pour pas dire, oh, you don't look like a Asian. Oh, you Asian? Cause surprise. No, they cannot be surprised si m'son rivons côté m'ka parler, m'bien présenter tête moi and everything. Oh, I have a nice thing, que c'est pas voler m'voler. Vous comprenez? So they
Hmm.
have to see that we as a powerful nation. And for that, we have to educate ourselves. Et c'est éducation qui tout bagay la former tête nous pour qu'on qui jan pour nous faire business, qui jan pour nous présenter tête nous, qui jan pour nous présenter whatever ça n'a bay là, même qui jan pour nous manger là nous dans restaurant jan nous chita. Comme si vous comprenez, on va chita comme ça sur table là, on
Yeah.
prend la main, comme si there's a way, nous avons une façon pour nous behave, pour nous tout respect, toute fierté que nous méritons à tout. So that I think they are open. Même les pas venir forcer fou là tête.
Yeah, si gen moun sa ap tande sa, yo vle pa pa aveme, yo ka vene pa aveme.
You can be the lave boy. Baba girl Juanet. I'm sorry. Mba ou show nobody.
Yeah, I'm talking Creole. You're talking to the Creole audience. Let
I
them know if they want to
know.
talk to me, they can talk to me.
Oui, of course, y'a pas lavo. No, Kemi. So, est-ce que vous considérez, I'm gonna ask you that question in Creole, est-ce que vous considérez, que travail, English, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I got most of everything. I just want to make sure I fully
Oui,
understand
what
what
I
you're
was
asking
going to
me.
say, est-ce que vous considérez que business ou yeah, son business qui est lucratif?
Yes. Hmm.
It is.
Wait.
Good business to be
Yeah, I
in.
mean to be a speaker, a trainer, a coach,
Mm-hmm.
that there's no limit. Right? I mean, technically, if you have a good business, there
Mm-hmm.
should be no limit to your income, right? So in this work, especially now with with a lot of companies realizing that they need to do work on a higher level,
Mm-hmm.
there's no limit, and we can solve a lot of problems for companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I would see it as a lucrative path. Yes.
Okay. So now for you, as a, you're not presenting yourself as Asian, but you're presenting it as a professional. So sometimes, bien qu'on dit comme ça, payer me caler la jambe, j'en dit tout à l'heure. But when we, when you get there, and then come see, like when they speak to you on the phone, oh my God, it's so English, it's so, what is the name, bougie. And then when they come and they see, oh, okay, they can, because of things they cannot tell in your face. Oh, you don't look like
Mhm.
your voice on the phone. They will never say anything like that, but they're gonna take it.
Yeah,
They will not say
it's
it.
fun. I don't think I've had anybody be like surprised when they see me, that especially we're in a digital world where
I know.
they probably look me up before I get there. So I haven't had anybody tell me that.
They will not tell. They will not. They will think, but not tell.
But also I don't think I don't hide it, it's more, if you ask me, I'm just going to tell you what you need to know to be
Mhm.
able to get the job done. So sometimes, as a client I've been working with for 2 months, and they just found out about some stuff in my life. It's like, we're doing business. We don't necessarily need to
Exactly.
tell every
I don't
single
know where
piece of
it
the
involved
puzzle.
me.
Yeah.
Private is
And so,
private. Business is business.
well, it's interesting too. We just did a training where a group of people learned more about their own team that they've been working together for 3 years, and it's like, well, people don't necessarily talk about their own lives in this world, which is part of the reason we're disconnected. And so I appreciate that when you started the conversation, you're asking me about me and asking me about where I come from, and how I would describe myself, and then now we kind of get more and more of that story. But yeah, for me, it's showing up as a human being first, and then if you need to know that I'm Haitian, great. If you need to know that I'm from America, great. Whatever you need to know to be able to move the conversation forward, that's fine.